Okay. Brain. What we see here is the cerebrum, in the back is the cerebellum. This is all cortex. So cerebral cortex here, cerebellar cortex there. This is all gray matter on the outside. The white matter would be on the inside. If we sliced it, you'd see the white matter, but we don't see it right here. Everything you see here is a gyrus. All the folds of tissues is gyrus. Each crevice, each wrinkle is called a sulcus. So there's some specific ones. The central sulcus goes across here. It divides the frontal lobe from parietal. The lateral sulcus here divides the parietal from the temporal lobe. So all the lobes together, frontal, parietal, temporal on the side by the ear, occipital in the back. If we peeled away the temporal, underneath that would be the insula lobe, which we don't get to see on this model. Okay. One other thing is this natural separation between the two cerebral halves, which is called the longitudinal fissure. So it is not a sulcus, it's a fissure,
Okay.
which means more of a separation. The sulcus is just a wrinkle. Okay, now cutting it open, mid-sagittal view. Again, all cerebral cortex here, all gray matter. We haven't cut into the cerebrum yet. Here's our corpus callosum. That's what we have cut by separating it. Then we get underneath that lateral ventricle, if we poke through this little window here. The other lateral ventricle would be on the other side, right there. So two lateral ventricles. Just underneath the lateral ventricle is this tissue here, the fornix, which aids in the memory of smell, especially if you're an animal. Right here is the diencephalon, this whole region here. At the roof of the diencephalon is this pink tissue, the choroid plexus, which produces cerebrospinal fluid. If we consider the whole diencephalon, we have three parts: the thalamus, the hypothalamus below it, and the epithalamus in the back. Coming down from there, we have the brainstem, midbrain, pons, and then medulla. In the front ventral structures here, what we look at, starting off is the olfactory nerve for smell, cranial nerve number 1, optic nerve number 2 for sight. The next structure we get to is the pituitary. This stem from the pituitary up, that's called the infundibulum, which connects to the hypothalamus. After that, we get the mammillary body. So in order: optic nerve, pituitary, mammillary body, pons, and medulla. Your major ventral structures there. On the back, corpora quadrigemina, and then of course we get the cerebellum down here. Alright, I think that is it. So, talking about the ventricles again, lateral ventricle here leading into the third, which is the space created in front of the diencephalon. The third ventricle drains cerebrospinal fluid into this canal, cerebral aqueduct, which leads to the fourth ventricle right here, which will then lead central canal down the spinal cord and then circulate back upwards again.
Okay. On our exam, will it just be like you point to a section and you have to tell what it is, or will it be like, what does this part do, or how does it function?
It could be identification of it, or